is Lara Martala. I'm 18 years old. I'm an Alpine ski racer for South Africa, and yeah, I will be representing South Africa at the upcoming Olympic Games in Italy.
Talk me through World Champs.
World Champs was such an amazing experience. The race day was on my 18th birthday actually, and I had an amazing day. I skied quite well. The slope was super icy, super difficult, but yeah, I'm quite happy with my result. I came 29th out of 115 girls, and I couldn't be more happy with how it went. It went also through the European media that it was my 18th birthday and that a South African came into the top 30, because coming top 30 in skiing is quite a big benchmark. So yeah, I was over the moon.
Amazing. And we're doing this whole campaign on sort of Women's Month, and the whole campaign is She is Team SA. So we're talking about our athletes, our management, our physios, everyone, you know, and kind of women being the backbone of Team SA. And for you, what does it mean to be part of Team SA?
I'm really proud to represent South Africa. I think as one of the few winter sport athletes, I think it's also, you know, my job to represent South Africa in a positive and, energetic, great way. I think I would really like to put South Africa onto the winter sport map, and that is definitely one of my goals for the upcoming season.
Cool. And so what's your build-up going into next year's Olympics?
Well, I'm incredibly motivated. I do nothing apart from train, and a little bit of school, of course. But yeah, training. I ski about 180 days per year, so just skiing a lot and doing a lot of fitness training.
And now you're out in Cape Town. Mm-hmm. How have you found your trip here?
I love it. So I biked up and around Table Mountain, which was a bit of a challenge, but it's great. I'm here to visit my family and it's my first time in Cape Town, so I've just been doing some touristy things and sightseeing, but I've really enjoyed it so far.
What have been like the top 3 things that you've done?
Table Mountain for sure. Then yesterday, this is not exactly Cape Town, but I hiked up Paarl Rock, which was so beautiful, and also visiting the V&A waterfront. I love that.
Cool. And then you said, so you've taken your schooling over your final year over 3 years?
Yes, exactly. So I do American online school, and I have been homeschooled since I'm 12 years old. And yeah, so now skiing is getting quite serious now. Like I said before, I do nothing apart from train. Basically, it's my whole life. And yeah, so balancing school and training has become a more important point for me, because otherwise I can't do both at a great level. So I have stretched my final 2 years of high school over 3 years, so I have more time to train and also have a successful diploma.
Talk us through that moment of the last Youth Olympics, flag bearing, all of that. How was that pride?
It was great. You know, in the ski world, South Africa is quite exotic, but I've been in the Alps for so long, and everybody knows us already. So we do have quite a lot of support from all of the other nations as well. But walking on that stage, of course, it was my first time representing South Africa in that way, so officially and on such a big stage, and it was great. You know, goosebumps and everything.
So, what's the ultimate moment for you? Is it being on the start line? Like, what's that moment that really just gets you pumped up?
Yeah, on the start line, and also the night before. I have to say, the night before a race is just a different kind of vibe. I don't really know how to explain it, especially if it's a big important race. But yeah, another great moment is, of course, if I do come through the finish line and I have an amazing result. That's unbeaten.
So talk me through that night before. Like, what's the mental preparation? What are you going through? What are you feeling?
Well, the night before, so in ski racing we always have a start number the night before, determining when we start the next day. And that's always quite exciting, because my start number also has a big influence on like the condition of the slope and everything. So it's always quite a big moment to find out. And yeah, I mean, I talk to my coaches, we kind of have a game plan for the next day. What are the conditions looking like? How am I feeling? Do I have to do anything different to prepare for the next day? And then, yeah, having a good meal and going to bed as early as I can and getting a good night's sleep.
So tell me, you were talking about your last big event, and you were talking about what the snow was like. I mean, we don't know hard snow, whatever, powdery, you know. And the reason I asked this is we had an interview with one of the tennis players, one of the para tennis players, and she was telling us the difference between playing on clay in a wheelchair and playing on grass. Like for you, what's the difference between kind of the different snow that you get and how that can affect you?
So usually for Alpine racing, usually our slopes are injected with water the night before. So we race on like pure ice. It can be also like in an ice rink, like the ice would already mirror sometimes. So that for us is almost ideal because we have really, really sharp edges on our skis, super sharp. And it can be quite scary to race on ice because sometimes if we don't have the right technique, we can slide away or crash. But yeah, usually on other races, sometimes if it snows overnight, we can have really soft snow, and then we have to adapt our skiing depending on what it's like.
And then when you get your race number, when you race, when you ski, does that make a big difference?
Yes, it does. So usually at races, we would be about 80 girls racing, and the slope does give up after about usually 10 to 15 races. There is quite a big difference in the slope, and so it just gets a lot more bumpy for the girls coming with the later start numbers, and also slower because we can't push as much.
So do you get your start number based on previous times, or is it a lucky draw?
So it's a little bit complicated. So in skiing we have a point system. So the less points you have, the better. So it's like a penalty. For every second you're behind, you get extra points. And in a race, your start number is determined by how many points you have, and the less points you have, the better start number you get. So basically, the better you are, the better your start number will be. So that is how that is determined, and the points come from previous races from all the past years.
Cool. So you said you were going to talk me through how skiing works.
Yes, so a ski race usually consists of 2 runs. So we have the first run and the second run, and in order to win the race you have to have the fastest time over both of the runs. So they don't take your one fastest run, but they count both together, and that is how you win a race, being the fastest. And before every run we have an inspection of the course. So usually in the morning already a coach will come and he will set a course. There's different combinations that can be set, different radiuses of the turns. And so the athletes have one chance to look at that before the race run, no practice runs, just to slowly slide through and memorize the course and anything important that there is to memorize. And then it's time for the first run. And then we'll have the second run, also again an inspection beforehand, and then the second race run. So in first run, we get the start list the night before, and all of the races start in order of that start list. But for second run, you actually have to qualify by arriving in the top 30 in the first run. And in second run, the order of starters is reversed. So the one who came 30th goes first, and the one who won first run will start 30th. And this is to make it more fair due to the conditions and snow.
Okay, so now tell me, when that first person goes out, like first run, you've seen the course once. Are you guys watching on TV to be like, let me see sort of which turns are coming, which are tight turns, etc.?
Yeah, of course. Well, at like the races I usually do all winter, so I do about 40 races per winter. We don't always have a TV at the start. That would only be for big races like Youth Olympics or World Championships or Olympics. But it usually works the way that I have one coach at the start with me with the radio and one coach on the course, or sometimes even another coach at the bottom of the course in case I can't see everything from one point. And then as I'm warming up and as I'm getting ready, I will talk to my coach over the radio, and my coach will then give me feedback or any important notes of what is going on the course and what I have to watch out for.
Sure. So it's really, it's quite interesting because from our perspective, it's an individual sport. But it really is, there's a lot of teamwork and planning that happens behind the scenes.
Absolutely, but I think I mean, even if it's not a team sport, it's an individual athlete, but there's a big team behind every athlete who's supporting and helping, and also putting so much of their time into supporting you. So it's always, I think, in the end, a team sport, even if the athlete is racing individually.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because, we see you on the snow and that's it.
Yeah.
But definitely a big team event there. You want to get into your questions, Mom?
I thought there was also another interesting aspect is the preparation of your skis.
Oh my
How
God.
huge that is.
Yeah.
For every type of snow, you have skis ready with a different edge, because you can, and how the time consuming. Talk about the team. You have a technician who is dad, who has to prepare the skis the night before, right? There's a lot going on behind the scenes. The
That's
equipment.
fascinating.
Yeah.
I have
And for
about
every kind of race, there's a
15 pairs
different
of skis.
skis.
You have 15 pairs of skis.
Yeah, about it.
Okay, so I understand tires from Formula One. So it sounds like you're talking in a similar kind of space. So talk us through your 15 pairs of skis and what is the advantage, disadvantage with each piece of equipment that you would have.
So my 15 pairs of skis are spread over 4 different kind of skis for 4 different disciplines, even though most of my skis are for my favorite discipline, which is slalom. So we do a lot of ski testing in the winter. So that's completely separate from how the skis are prepared the night before a race or before training. So ski setup is just generally, there's different cuts of the ski, that they have different shapes, which result in different turn radiuses, tighter or longer turns. Then we have different plates, how I stand on the ski, whether my toes are higher, whether my heels are higher, different setups like that. So that's what we would test throughout the winter to figure out what is best for racing, what I feel most comfortable, and what if I'm the fastest on, of course, that's the most important. And then, preparing the skis takes up a lot of time. So in my case, my dad prepares all of my skis. We have to especially tune the edges, because like I said before, usually our race slopes are really, really icy. So if I don't have sharp edges, I definitely cannot ski the way I want to. And what's also really important is to also have a look at the weather report the night before. What will the temperatures be? Because onto the base of the ski, a wax goes onto the base of the ski, and depending on the snow, it's different, and depending on temperature, so that my ski slides fast, because also a lot of the time I'm not on the edge but on the base of my ski. Yeah.
Sure. That's properly interesting, eh? And so what happens, I mean, I know here we get the weather report wrong. What can the net effect be if maybe you're not on the right ski on the day?
Not a very good race and a quite slow time. But usually my dad, he does have some emergency ski wax, and also a file for the edges of my skis with him in the backpack. Of course, it's not very comfortable doing it on the mountain for him on the side of the slope, but he always does have something with him, and all of the coaches do if the temperature changes, or because usually my first run is quite early in the morning at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and then as the day goes on and the sun comes out, the temperature will get warmer and the snow will change. So yeah, it's always something to do. And to race, I usually do take 3 pairs of skis with me. 1 ski to warm up in the morning and to do the inspections for the courses, and then 1 ski for the first run and 1 ski for the second run.
Okay, sure. Have to have a little bit of a big car.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we have a race bus, a Team South Africa race bus that is seen everywhere all the time.
Okay, and so typically how many people would be on the team?
So that depends if somebody's on the national team or if they're training privately, but usually a ski team that's not the national team is like 10 athletes and 2 coaches, something like that. Or also my team, which I will be on this winter, is a little group of Italians, really fast girls who I can hopefully be as fast as one day. We are 5 athletes and 3 coaches, so quite a personalized team, which is great for training. But national teams will have the A team, the B team, the C team, and a lot of coaches, like 2 or 3 coaches per athlete, something like that. And they have technicians and physios and doctors as well, traveling with them.
Fantastic.
So you also race for a club?
No, not for a club. So in skiing, we have the...
Oh, she belongs to a club in South Africa.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I race, so
They
I
don't
have a club, but that's just for like my registration, for my skiing license. So in ski racing, we have
Is this getting uncomfortable?
No, all good, all good. That's what I go to the gym for. So in ski racing, we have age categories that go up until U16. So we'll have U12, U14, U16, and then after U16, we go into an open age category called FIS, and that is when we race against 25, 30-year-olds. And when you go into FIS, you start skiing for your country. So everybody has to put down the passport for which country they want to ski for, and I chose South Africa.
Awesome.
So I can imagine the nerves before like race day. How do you deal with that?
I don't know. I guess I'm used to it. I do so many races per winter, but it's exciting every single time. And then also, depending on who's racing, whether I think I'll have a good chance on having a good race that day or not. Depending on the conditions, how I'm feeling, it's always quite exciting. But I just try to talk to my coaches, talk to my friends, stay loose, and don't get too tensed up.
So next year, you're going to Senior Winter Olympics.
Yes.
Yes.
For the adults this time.
How are you finding that transition?
Well, like I said, I have been racing against the adults for 2 years now, and even though I only got to race against the top of the world at World Championships, which was such an amazing experience, also in preparation for the Olympics, so that I also somehow know what to expect. But I mean, I watch the World Cups on TV, and then I have to imagine myself racing against these same girls as well. But I want to, just ski as fast as I can and train so that I know that I can do something there and have a chance.
What is that transition like where you go, I mean, we both very keen rugby guys. What's that transition when you go from, I mean, I always say, difficult to go from a guy whose poster you had on the wall to playing against them, What is that like when you go from someone who's 2 years ago is your hero and next year they're your enemy?
It's really cool. It's also great because when you're little, you're always dreaming about, I wish one day I could race against these people and also be on that same stage. And then when you arrive in the moment, you sometimes just don't really realize how far you've come. And that, I like to take a moment and think, hey, like I'm here where I was wishing to be 2 years ago, and it's an amazing feeling.
And I mean, mental health is a massive thing for all of us in whatever aspect, sport, work, life. How do you deal with that? How do you work on the mental aspect of things?
I mean, all sports isn't, professional sports is not easy. And there will always be ups and downs. You'll have great races and really, really bad ones, and usually, the bad moments do outweigh the good ones in sports because it doesn't always go the way you wanted. But I think as an athlete, we really learn to be resilient and just to work through whatever comes your way. And it's also just so important to have a supportive team who's always there for you and will listen to you. But also sometimes when you're in a spot you can't get yourself out of, also just to sometimes say, hey Lara, come on, like it's not that deep, come on, get out of this, it's okay, and just keep moving. It's also sometimes what's necessary.
To give youngsters out there kind of a little pep talk thing, what is your, I remember there's a lovely Michael Jordan quote where he says in his career he's been entrusted with X number of game-winning points and he's missed this many. He basically talks about how his failures made him successful. Is there anything in your life or where you're sitting where you go, listen, some of those hardships are the things that have defined the success, you know, being able to represent my country?
Yeah, there's been countless moments. I just think in the end, the work that you put into your sport is what you will get back out, usually, of course. Yeah, just to keep going and to keep your goal in mind, what you're working for, and not to also be pulled too far down by, you know, failures, to call it that, or something, just a bad result, because it's part of the sport and it's part of the journey to get to your goal. So use it as a growing experience.